This is really the Fighter and the Kid.
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, we're rolling right now. I just looked at Donnell as a man, and I said, I like that cologne. And I smelled it the minute I walked into the studio.
But
so.
you looked at me as a man, but just shared a story about Katt. So what does that make you?
It makes me a little confused.
But in the streets, we call it sus.
Oh, sus.
Suspect.
Yeah, that's sus. That's everything is sus.
Sus.
I got an 8-year-old son, and I don't know where he gets it, but he told me, Daddy, that's sus. He used all the cool words. I'm not going to say you're sus because I know you're not sus. I know the history, our history.
Right.
But for the streets, and I'm representing the streets on this motherfucker, that sounded sus as a motherfucker. You know, another thing is sus. Did y'all... is it a reason why I'm on the black couch doing Black History?
Well, we started
I just
out.
want to know.
We
like to
started
get
out with
back.
a racist. We
We
started out
support.
with a racist.
We also wore all black.
We all wore, we're all
Everyone's
black.
wearing
That's
black.
true. Everybody's wearing black.
We look like a boy band.
And I even said when Donnell was here 10 minutes early, I didn't mean it as a racist thing, but I said, "Oh shit, he's early."
But it was
And
in
then-
your eyes that it was slightly racist.
You saw my, my
I
eyes.
saw your eyes like...
My eyes got a little racist.
I didn't
it
like
was
the
like this,
tone. I didn't like the tone. Oh wow, you're early.
But you did say your publicist is a white woman, so she keeps you on time. You
Yes.
said that. You said that. I didn't say that.
And then you said, I know he's early, but we're having fried chicken for lunch.
That's I
exactly
might have said that, but
what
it is
you
Black
said,
History
son.
Month, so there it is.
It is. Let's do it. But
right.
you know what I found out? And this the stereotype. Black people, we have certain stereotypes. But I found out that white people love fried chicken way more than black people.
I believe that.
Love it.
And white people will cross the color barrier line for the best fried chicken.
All day.
You go to Nashville,
was
where's
about
the
to
hot
say,
chicken?
I was just in
It's
Nashville,
in the
that's right.
hood.
Yeah.
You go to New York, everywhere, white people, well, they'll cross the line
Right.
in the daytime. Nighttime, they're not buying the fried chicken.
There's no chicken that good.
No, not that
No, we'll
good.
risk our lives during the day though.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
not nighttime.
Not
Nighttime is a whole different ball game, man.
I'm just personally, I love seeing that you did a special. You've always been one of my favorites, and we've been doing clubs together. We've been, forever. And you always, no matter what, to me, you've always been like one of those guys I call a comics comic.
Right.
And it's just a fact, and I've never seen you not be funny ever. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm friends with the funniest people on the planet, and some would say I do all right too on stage.
No,
And
you're a beast.
I'm just saying that I've never seen you not destroy a room. I've never seen it. I don't know how many shows we've
I
done
just
together.
had a confrontation with another African American doing Black History Month, right? And they had some question of if I'm funny. The most
Who said that?
insulting.
What?
This guy.
Can you set that stage for it? Because obviously I see it,
Damn,
right?
I just hate this man, but it's just like.
But
it's
I
something-
don't understand it because you're a monster, and we've all seen it at the Laugh Factory. You're such a monster. Nobody wants to follow you.
Right.
And then when they're like, Holcomb's going after Donnell, I was like, for what?
Well,
Going after
it wasn't even
Donnell.
going. It wasn't even going. You know how, like, I gotta put it like this: friendship and loyalty is everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You guys have been with each other forever, and I know y'all been in brother situations where y'all fight or whatever. But at the end of the day, y'all friends. At the end of the day, I really feel like this: if somebody attacks you, they attack you.
Correct.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I really feel that way. That's the type of friendship y'all have. And that's the type of friendship that I have with Dave Chappelle, right? So this guy, Corey Holcomb, I hate this because it's going to give him props or whatever, and his name is going to come up. For some time, he's been bashing, good friend of mine, Dave Chappelle, right? Bashing Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is this. Dave Chappelle is not funny. Dave Chappelle be bombing and all this type of stuff.
Okay.
Right? And I am a person that try to stay away from like negative energy, but in some cases, it's something that's going to trigger you, right? And another thing, don't get me wrong, I think Corey Holcomb is a very funny guy.
He's funny.
He's one of those shocking guys. He stands in his truth. And whatever people feel about him, to have a comic or to know a comic that could have an audience where they're grunting and they're on the verge of walking out and booing, and then in a split second, you flip it and everybody's laughing.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Yeah, he's do that. Like I'd say,
I've not seen him. So
yeah, but I'll say like, I say that's sort of like Tom Brady energy. And if you want to compare like a quarterback situation, I feel like my style is more like Michael Vick. I'm trying to score a touchdown every time.
Yeah, you're
I'm not
going.
going to go in the pocket.
Bro, I've
and
seen
get to the hole.
you
Yeah.
crush a room by making noises.
Right.
I've seen you crush a room by literally like singing and making like I've seen you do 5 minutes of shit where you're just you're communicating. Your special was like a sermon almost.
Well, hold on. Before you get to that,
But let me
let's
finish
finish
on,
the
keep
whole.
on.
All right, so with this, so I already knew that he had a certain issue with Dave, which for me, people say, why you care? Because it's my good friend, right? I knew that at some point that I was going to see him, and I wanted to question him about it. Not like, yo, motherfucker, but like, how could you say that? You know what I'm saying? Why are you putting that type of negativity out in the world when you know this guy's character? You know what he's done for comedy. You know what he's done for other comics. You know, one of the most celebrated comics out there. You don't got to be on a motherfucker dick for that. But the reality of it is that you rather talk about what your personal feelings are about this guy opposed to talking about what makes this guy to what, for some people, the GOAT, right?
Yeah,
so I was at a comedy club the other night, and I was assuming that I was closing. It was at 3 shows. I was assuming I was closing. I don't go check the list or anything, right? So I'm sitting in the back. I go on stage, and then when I get off, I'm like, I thought it was gonna be like, good night. They was like, we got another guest. We got another guest comedy that's gonna come on. Blah blah blah. Corey Holcomb, 5150, right? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, I want to hear this. You know, told my guy, let's sit down and everything. And Corey projects the idea of this theory that if Hollywood, the only way you can be successful if you do certain type of sexual favors. Basically, this was his
Katt Williams thing.
Yeah, this is what he said. Any man, if you are in more than 3 movies in Hollywood, you've sucked a dick. And that was the trigger for me. That was the trigger for me because now I'm
Doc, who's your age?
I was going to say, who's your age? Yeah.
What was triggering for me? Of course, I had my relationship with Dave in the back of my head, right? But then when he said that, I was counting how many movies I've been in, right? I'm like this. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Yeah, I went to IBS.
Yeah, I wasn't smiling the whole time. I was frowning when I did it.
Yeah, I like this. I go to IBS. I was like, and I'm like, and I said, and I know that the rule is you don't heckle. I don't consider it a heckle. I said, wait a minute, Corey. I said, I've been in 3 movies and I'm dick free. Right? I said, this is what I said. I said, I've been in 3 movies and I'm dick free. And then he didn't know who it was at first. He said, who's that? Who's that? He was like, Donnell? And I said, yeah. Then he says, oh man, comedians don't like me because I tell the truth. I said, Corey, you do tell the truth. I said, but sometimes you say some sideways shit, which provoked him. He knew where I was getting at with that, right? And he was like, oh, your boy is not funny or whatever. He's saying all this shit, right? And I'm like this. Now, this is what I really got pissed. He was like, he said, Donnell, you're a mild comedian.
Mild
what?
Comedian.
Mild comedian.
Man, has he watched you? Has he
No,
seen
listen. He said, you're a mild comedian. Then he said, you're ketchup. You're not hot sauce, right? And this, and I know I haven't owned a pair of Timberlands in a long time, right? So people would question my gangster. Like this chick the other day was like, where's your Timbs? I was like, I don't know. Yeah. Does that make me a bitch ass motherfucker?
Grown man.
Right?
Grown
I was
man.
like this, and I was like, I wanted to borrow somebody Tim's or whatever, right? And then it got ugly. He was like, you never worked these clubs. I was like, bruh, I came from the grimiest spots. I did the nastiest rooms in Brooklyn. And then he went on to say, what he said, you're not, he said, you're a mild comic. Then he asked the audience, he said, you think you're a strong comic? I said, no, I don't think I'm a strong comic. I'm a beast, motherfucker.
Yeah, facts.
And he tried to get the audience to ride
agree with him. Yeah.
It was over after that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how that happened. And then it's so funny because now I'm being petty, right?
Right.
So I go back to Google and I'm like, wait a minute, he's been in 6 movies. So
it's a lot of movies.
So like was a Mike.
I just don't get the point. Like him,
bring him up.
You'll know who he is. Yeah. Him talking down about Chappelle or you like that, bro. That's not gonna. It doesn't help anything. No one's gonna see you be negative and go, I want to buy a ticket.
It's also not.
No. You're wrong.
You think?
No, 100%. I was talking to one of my content producers once, right? And we were just talking about what Donnell's brand is, right? And my brand is bringing people together, having a good time, right? And then I said, we're going to stay on that path, right? We're going to stick with that. He was like, you're right, Unc. He called me old, like you just called me old. What'd you call me, OG?
I called you legend.
Legend, that's like saying you're 50.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, that's like 50. You called me 50 on the low, right?
Yeah,
OG is like you're like mid-40s, 50, but
we haven't gotten off on a good foot. I called you old. He was surprised you were on time.
Sugar Sean said dad, called me dad the other day.
So I lost my thought. What would I say?
Oh, you're saying I'm wrong on negativity. Like, I don't think it sells tickets. I was talking to my content. It gets views.
Well,
different.
Well, some people want different things. You know what I'm saying? In some places, it will sell tickets. And I told my content guy, I was like, he said, yeah, Unc, we're going to stay positive because negativity and toxicity doesn't win. I was like, yes, it does win. It does win.
Give me an example, Donnell. Who's been a super negative comic that has reached Kevin Hart?
Well, that's a different level. No, not that level.
I'm saying like big successful comics. None of them are that going after people.
Nobody.
They don't have time.
But that's my point. But those other, the ones that you're talking about, don't have certain opportunities. And I think that they go spiral into that situation because this is all I have. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way I'm going to engage people.
You can get a following by being a pointed hater. You can.
But then if you ask that to buy tickets, it's like how you want to make your money. Yeah. Like we got the type of history that when we started, the bad guy didn't win. No. You had to be likable to win,
and you had to be, good too.
But you don't have to do any of that anymore. Yeah. All you got to do is engage. Now, some people, they get comfortable in what their brand is. You got to engage. When I say that, whatever how they register, how much money you get for certain hits and everything, some people are comfortable with just like, I'll sit in this podcast and I'll provide for myself off of this. They don't care if that draws people to go to fill up an arena, fill up a 10,000 seat. You know,
right? Well, that's the thing. I did a show 2 nights ago with Jay Moore, and Jay Moore's back. Jay Moore had a little problem with it's public, but
Adderall.
He had some drug issues,
and
now he's sober, and he's been writing. And when you watch that dude get up on stage, I was reminded of where the bar really is. I was reminded of what a monster.
I told you at the Ice House, he tore down the house and no one wanted to go on. Monster.
I fought. Well, then it was Jeff Dye. Jeff Dye followed, then I came
Monsters,
up. Yeah. Bro, this guy was. I mean, Jeff's amazing too. But you go. Damn.
It's interesting you say that because I do know it was a time where you didn't see too much of Jay.
No, he
and you ask yourself people like that because I'm from the Boston Comedy Club days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? John Rowney, what's that? The round I got John. It was they did a duo show. Red something.
No. Red Johnny? Is it Red Johnny?
Or the Round Tree or something like that.
Yeah.
It was him back then.
Big guy, right? Big.
It was 2 guys.
Yeah.
It was him. It was Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. It was Jim Gaffigan. These are the guys was popping. And it was Jay Moore. Yep. And when Jay Moore, at that time, what people don't understand, Barry Katz, Red Johnny in the Round Tree. Or what is it? Red Johnny, whatever.
Red Johnny.
Yeah, but at that time.
The round guy.
Right, at that time, Barry Katz had New York Entertainment or whatever the name of his company was, and it was Jay Moore and Dave Chappelle. That was it. He had 2 of the top guys. At that time, they was smoking and stuff. And when you went into a room, you saw Jay. Some people was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna go outside and have a cigarette or do a push-up or something." But you never want to follow him. So to hear that,
I said that to people because they were dying. I go, that dude's been doing that shit for 25 years. Let's take a little break
because our friends at DraftKings got quite the deal for you, fam. Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in bonus bets.
Amazing, man.
B, if you're going to bet, you got to bet my Nuggets. We got Jokic. We got the Joker. We got Jamal Murray. We're popping right now. The Boston Celtics, they're coming strong off the East, but I think the Nuggets going to roll them up in the playoffs. In the finals. So we'll see how it goes. The Suns are going to catch fire as well, man. Never bad to bet on the Suns. Milwaukee's tough. I can't wait, but bet on my Nuggets.
Man. Do I have to download the
yes, sir.
DraftKings Sportsbook app now? Can I do that using code FIGHTER?
That's right, dude.
Really? Will customers get
only new customers? Only new customers.
But I want a no sweat bet up to $1,000 on if my first bet loses.
You got
Is that possible?
Yeah, I think so, dude. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code FIGHTER, like you said, pal.
But I want the crown.
The crown is yours.
If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or go ahead and text HOPE-NY 467-369. If you're in Connecticut, though, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Now it's void in Ontario. 1 no sweat bet per new customer issued as 1 bonus bet based on the amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/promos for deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Now, Brennan, you've been kind of coveting my sweater. I know.
You know what it is? Because you don't have socks on at your age.
Well, yeah, but I got an extra soft sweater. Who cares about my socks when I'm wearing the sweater? Because your eyes don't go to my ankles; they go to my torso. This is a True Classic sweater.
I knew it.
I'm also wearing True Classic underwear. I almost always have something True Classic.
Dude, I
on
get
me.
the undies myself, dog.
Do you really?
What's up, baby?
Oh, there we go. Me
They're
too.
so comfortable.
I know they are. Look,
Yeah.
I'm wearing mine. Look.
That took way too long for you to get out. Yeah, you gotta finally get a belt on too. That's fantastic.
I do actually.
Yeah, True Classic. They make everything. I get the matching sweatshirt, the crew neck, the joggers in every color they got.
I know.
They got hoodies. They got jackets. They got T-shirts. All the Fighter and the Kid merch. All the Thicccboy merch is always True Classic for you.
It's whatever you need. Basically, if you want to look
It's
really
all
good
we
and be
wear.
comfortable, you can look great with the button downs. Everything that they have, and once again, I always say this, and this tells you a lot. The founder, who has plenty of money, could wear anything he wants. He's always in his own product, always. And if you look at the quality of the jeans, that's another one. I have like all their jeans. Get a look at the quality of their jeans. It's unbelievable. And the price, I don't know how they keep the prices where they are. But we'll give you 25% off your first order. How about that?
Which is, again, that's 25% off certain things, but the joggers, the crew neck sweatshirts, the regular sweatshirts, hoodies, jackets, jeans, underoos, they got it all. All you got to do is go to trueclassic.com/fighter. You can save up to 25% off your first order. That's trueclassic.com/fighter. Save up to 25% off your first order.
I don't care who you are out there. I don't care how popular you are. Nobody wants to follow. You follow him, you better, like you said, pack a lunch. You better have your seatbelt on. Everything else, bring everything you've got if you got to follow him.
But you know what's so funny? There's always been a question in our business: can you follow somebody? And me personally, I've never been afraid of that because I think that there's a very unique strategy on shifting energy. I think when you go up there with the notion, I want to out funny this person, because if somebody goes up and rips a stage, the room is set. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have the patience. Like, I've been in some situations where people smoke the room, and I've seen me have to eat 5 minutes.
Dick.
Where they still, you can't say that, son. You can't.
Sorry, I just meant.
I'm black. I'm homophobic, bro. You can't say that. I've not been in that many movies.
I'm saying a bag of dicks. That's all. That's all.
You can't say dick around me at all, son. What am I doing here doing Black History Month?
I forgot. That's a trigger word.
I need to be here in March for Women's Appreciation or something, son. And you said it so casually.
I did.
White people don't have a homophobic bone in their bodies, son.
Yeah, man.
But I've had situations where I had to have the patience. I'm like, this dude just ripped. I mean, I've been behind people where it's like they still saying, "Oh shit," to that guy's joke. But I think the part of following everything, I think, is just a mental thing and being able to shift that energy and get them on.
Well, you've always been this ability to dominate the audience. Like, you set the tone.
Right.
Like, when you go up, it doesn't.
You're the same way. That's so weird when you say that, man.
Yeah, I try to do the same thing. I mean, but that's why I've always just loved watching you, because that energy is what I vibe on.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's just like a different thing. It's like,
But you know how connection from the beginning.
What is it?
We were both signed with APA.
Is that what it was?
Yes, and you remember a woman named Marianne Rebecki?
Yes.
That was the first agent, and that's when APA was considered in the top 4 agencies in the country.
Are they still around?
Yeah.
They're still
back
around.
when we were with them, they were especially with
the bee's
comedy.
knees?
Yeah.
Well, it's with comedy that, like, when we were
They
young.
have you two, Charlie Chaplin, who else?
Yes. Yeah.
Old man Jones, stop it, son! I can't wait for you to lose your hair, bro.
Bro,
I can't wait for that
I
day.
know. There's something about age that's a great equalizer. It's just like, I see you and I want to hug you because we're both in the same fucking
But
boat.
I will tell you this. I say what the thing that I appreciated about you, and what I said I wanted to do or be. God damn, I want to be a white man. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying.
You heard it.
No. What I'm saying is, for a motherfucker like you to be a killer like you were in stand up, but you, like, at the beginning was getting acting roles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I
You
wanted
was
to be an actor first, I thought.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time, like, really, really studying acting, like being in class, doing scenes, doing plays.
the work.
I did a play, at least one, usually 2 plays a year in LA.
How many
for
auditions
10
did you
years.
be?
How many auditions?
10,000 hours?
10,000 auditions and got 7.
9,000 no's, yeah.
You get it. It's a million no's. But when you get that yes, that can turn into a 7-year job.
Oh, man,
like
easily,
the
easily.
Goldbergs, whatever.
Did you ever fall into that, Donnell? As far as like you've done movies, but I'm sure you've had offers to like really go down that road where you're working full time.
Here's the thing. I've been lucky enough early on I was with the same agency, right, early on. And this was a time, like, of my generation of Def Comedy Jams or whatever, it was just like one way. You just did shows. You did the chitlin circuit, but it was not too many people of my generation doing Law and Order, doing Third Watch, and stuff like that. And I just happened to, I started a sketch group years ago, right? It was called a Secret Society. And then my managers, we set up a showcase, right? And everybody was all excited because it was like a very black sketch group. It was like 12 of us, whatever, and nobody was doing sketch on stages like that. So we did a showcase, and we invited all the agencies out. And then the next day, Jason Steinberg's phone was ringing off the hook. I'd never had any training or anything. I just realized that a lot of my jokes were like three-dimensional. I'm like, instead of just telling them as jokes, I can make these characters. I'd never had any training or anything. But then that got on, and then I was with an agency, and they was sending me out, and I was so green. I mean, I was getting blown away in the audition. I remember one time I was auditioning with this girl, and I had the script like this. I'm looking back and forth, and she started shitting on me. She threw the script up and going back to you saying all the no's, like I think maybe my third audition, I booked a Law and Order thing, but I never ever took acting that serious. I took stand up.
Yeah, see, I went to theater school in New York. I went to formal theater school.
He was in.
You know, I studied everything.
But now that I know the history of that, I could see why you were where you were. But at the same time, to be focused on being a great actor and a great comic, not too many people do that shit.
Well, man, it was a grind all the time. But you know, I was also lucky because I came up with some people. Like I remember, like if you see what it takes to be like a really successful actor, like Bradley Cooper. When that dude would work on an audition, he would work on that audition for 3 days straight. Like he was working with his acting coach and like people like that.
For the one audition? Just for that one audition.
Yeah. So everything was considered. The clothing they wear, even the soles of their shoes. Like, how does it make me feel when I walk in leather shoes versus rubber shoes? Is it belt untied? What are the things in between the scenes?
He was an actor.
Bro, they would work on, I'm talking about details. So when they get up there in front of those people, they're doing shit that the writer and the director never thought about.
Yep.
What guys like that would do is they'd go, I know you have an idea, watch this. And then they go, what the fuck is this? And you can't compete with that.
But that's so funny you said that because when I first started going on the auditions, they would send me out on stuff and I was like, they don't get it. Cause I go out and the breakdown be like a beach hunk. Right?
Fuck, man.
I have never been called hunky or anything, right? They be like beach hunk, and I'd be like, yo, motherfucker, y'all know I ain't a hunk.
Oh, bro.
But they was like, Donnell, to your point,
you never know.
They was like this, you want to be in the room. Because a lot of times they don't know what they want, and you could show them something different.
Yes.
You know, but I never was that serious. But I was so disrespectful to acting. It was a couple of roles. I remember this one. It was a movie with Cameron, the rapper, right? It was one of those, you know, black movies, and I knew who I was playing, right? And I always was focused on stand up. And I'd be in a comedy club. I'm like, man, I ain't got to read all this shit. I'll just sit in the chair, and I'd be like, okay, I'm doing this, right? I wasn't reading the script. It was so funny because I came to work one day and I was all happy. I'm telling everybody, yo, what's up? Hey, y'all, what's up, motherfucker? We got this shit, ride or die, right? And I was wondering why everybody was looking away from me. They wouldn't look me in my eyes, right? I didn't know I was going to get killed that day.
God damn it. You're like,
yo, I'm all like, he's a jolly good fellow. Nobody wants to make eye contact.
Yeah. Page 3.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to make eye contact with me, right? So then I look, I'm like, oh shit.
Oh no.
This is my last day at work.
And you find out at the table read sometimes.
Yeah, but I skipped that. It was a ghetto joint. I was just like this. Y'all want me to act? I'll fucking act. I'll take it page by page, day by day. But I was like, fuck that. I didn't go out like that, right?
Well, yeah.
But look, it was a scene, where I get shot, right? I get out the car, and I'm not talking about shot with like one gun. I'm talking about they got AKs and everything, right? Yo, I was like, if this is my last time on this set, I was supposed to die in 2 seconds, right? I took a minute and a half. I took a minute.
Love my children.
Yo, look, I know they would probably do it in slow motion. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to die in slow motion. I was running up the steps. They shoot me in the back. They like this. I'm like, no! I'm telling you, son.
Blood coming out of your mouth.
I ran up the steps. They still shooting me, right? And I'm like this. I slid. Now this, I done took like 50 shots, and I slid down. I was so dramatic. I slid down the wall like this. I'm like, I still got the camera on me. Like, I'm a minute in right now, right? And then at the end, and look, I'm a minute in. At the end, I was like, still not dead, right? Then I did like this. And I was like, yo, and they was like,
Director's like, we got it. Thank you.
We're not using that take.
But here's the funny thing. You know Keith Robinson in New York, right? He's an asshole. But when I say in the most friendly way. He's done so much for so many people's career, right? And we always had this like love-hate relationship in the most positive way, right? And he made me feel bad. He was like, I saw that motherfucking movie you was in. I was so fucking mad. I was like, get him! He was rooting for my death. He was like, shoot him more. I'm like, yo, you asshole.
There's nothing more embarrassing. I did an audition one time. I was so excited about it. It was a big job. And the character, I believe, was crying because the character is like talking to the love of his life. And it was like a loose rendition of Romeo and Juliet put in modern times with guns and all that. And I'm doing the fucking scene, and I'm just fucking killing it. And the casting director goes, "Hey, why are you crying?"
Really? And you didn't know?
I was like, oh, no, I just thought, no.
Well, Bryan educated me on how, because I moved out here, 13, 14 years ago. And I didn't realize how I come from sports, which is cutthroat. I didn't realize Hollywood is cutthroat.
Oh, bro.
So Bryan,
it's cutthroat unless you suck a dick.
Correct.
All right, now you can cut through that throat. Now it's deep throat.
We'll see. I've only been in 2 movies, so one more and I'm in.
Fall back, son.
Career's about to boom. But I didn't realize how cutthroat was. Then Bryan invites me to the opening of one of his movies. He's like, I'm in this, man. His wife and kids, I go with them. I'm in a suit. I'm like, red carpet's gonna be sick. We're taking pictures up there. We're sitting down.
It's a Kevin Hart movie, right?
I forget.
Okay.
But we sit down and Kevin Hart's in it.
Yeah.
We sit down and we're 45 minutes into it. I'm like, when do you come on, y'all? I think they added me out, man. I was like, wait, hold on. I said, hold on. They didn't tell you?
No.
We're all here.
But
no one told you.
Now, with like the Joker, I'm there for 5 days. I'm there for 5 days in a fucking. I'm with Greer Barnes. You know Greer?
Yeah, of course.
He's great, and a couple other comics. We're at a table, and I'm in fucking
clown suit.
Well, I got a tight black pants, no shirt, a bow tie, a blonde wig.
Joaquin Phoenix Joker, like big movie.
Joaquin Phoenix with that crazy dude right there. I mean, great actor, but he won't even look at me or say hi, he's in character. And I'm sitting there in that room doing my shit just like that. But that was I wasn't allowed to wear that. I had my shirt off the whole time, and I'm just like that, and we're improvising, we're doing the shit, and we're coming back up and forth. I'm doing my scene with him. I'm talking to him, and I can see blah blah blah. Camera here, da da da. And I've just been doing this so long, and after the 4th day, I look at how they're shooting this shit, and I bring Todd Phillips over. I go, Todd, come over here for a second. He goes, what's up? He goes, you're doing a great job. I go, yeah, good improv, right? He goes, yeah, very exciting. I go, yeah. I go, now I'm friends with you, so I'm gonna say something. I want you to tell me if it's true or false. I'm not gonna be in this movie.
Right, you felt it?
I'm on the floor. He goes, we'll see, but yeah, I mean, it is taking a turn.
You see, like the back of your head,
but you
hear
never.
your voice.
But like when I did, I had an opportunity, Spider-Man 2, right? I was in that, and but I learned my lesson about not telling what you're doing because there was I had did an episode of Law and Order, right?
Yeah.
And I had an air date, and back then, again, coming from the BET and the Def Jam, you just didn't do stuff like that. So I had fucking my cousins and nephews. I mean, everybody having watch parties everywhere. And I watched the whole fucking episode of Law and Order, right? Because again, I don't read the script, right? So I didn't know when I was just waiting for me. Yo, in 30 minutes, I was like this. I was like,
you see that? That's my career. That's my career right there.
I was like, yeah. And it made me realize you never know. And what happened was they didn't cut me out. They switched the way the episodes were going to be.
Yeah.
Even when I did Spider-Man 2, right? I had the opening part of the opening scene of that, right? And I was so nervous about it. I was like, I can't tell nobody I'm in Spider-Man 2 because they could cut you, right? But the only way I knew I was in there because Jason Steinberg, one of his good friends, was editing on that, and I was like, yo, did I make it? And it was like, yeah, and he told me the line and everything. So I was like, oh shit, I'm about to be in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And that was,
you know what? I will say this too. You won't say it, but I'll say it. Like when we were coming up and we were young, if you looked at TV,
you got a joke about, you was like, you guys were young.
No, you were, he's yeah. But when we were coming up in the 90s, TV was insanely white. So there were so many parts for me. But if you were black back then, there wasn't one black TV show. There really wasn't. I mean, there was a stretch
Cosby,
of time.
that was it.
That was it. But I mean,
you know what?
And that you could almost say that
Family
still,
Matters.
like there's not, very few. Like every pilot that came down, every single pilot
PJs.
had 5 white people on a couch.
Yeah.
It's just what it was.
But
So if you were young and a really talented comic like yourself, there wasn't that there just weren't a lot of
roles.
It was The Wire, which you did.
Yeah,
you know?
but here's go. The funny thing about it, there wasn't a lot of roles, but I was lucky enough. And this when I got tired, I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to focus on stand up because I did Special Victims Unit,
Yep.
and
Yeah, so
everything.
did I. So
but
did I.
like 3 or 4 of them, right? And I was
did
like,
all
wait
of
a
those.
minute, every shot I'm getting arrested.
Yes.
Yo, every
right.
every one. I'm telling you, I was like, yeah, I'm typecast. Everyone is like this. What I do? Yo, everything was
single
like,
one.
oh no, not me. Oh no, not me. What I do?
Every time.
And this is so funny. You said The Wire. The Wire. Like, a lot of people don't know.
Well, that's one of the best TV shows ever made.
If people always ask me, what you want your legacy to represent and whatever, and it's hard to really answer that question, but I will say, I was reading, it was an article in Entertainment Weekly, maybe like 5 years ago, right? And they named the 100 best shows in the history of television, right? Chappelle's Show was one of them, and The Wire was one of them.
And you were in both.
So I was like, so
Wow.
if anything, it's a mic drop. But the interesting thing, a lot of people that were fans of The Wire, they don't know that there was another show before that called The Corner. David Simon.
Charles Dutton.
Charles Dutton directed it.
Yep.
David Simon. It was a police officer. They wrote the book and they adapted it to the series. That was one of the, to that point in my career, was one of the biggest things that I had done, right? And the crazy thing about how I got that role, right? Again, I don't read the scripts like that, right? So I just got to, I don't prepare. I'm letting you know, I don't prepare, right? So, the corner, like I get part of it. I get one of the sides, right? And it's this guy. It was a heroin addict, right? But I didn't know he was a heroin addict. The sides I got was just about him just being regular, right? So when I went in there, man, when I tell you Jackie Brown Carmen, I remember her. I thought I was bombed. I didn't know the lines or anything. And I was I think I said, man, fuck this, right? In the audition, I was like, that's why I was like, you about to be the best comic in the world, right? I was like, man, fuck this. She was like, Donnell, relax. Black people always bring God in the room, right? She had to bring the Lord in. I'm telling you, y'all white people like, fuck that. We don't fuck with God like that. You know
she
what I
brought
mean?
God in.
It's my talent. I was trained. Black people like, God, Lord, please be in this joint. So she was like, she said, Donnell, God is in the room. And I felt like those teachers like this, we're not going to bring God into the school system. I was like, that's nothing to do with it now.
No.
I fuck with God, but not right now.
Yeah.
Right? She was like, God is in the room. Take a deep breath. I took a deep breath and did all that shit, but I still thought I bombed that shit, right?
Yeah.
And I get a call 3 days later, and they're going crazy. He was like, you booked the HBO series.
Damn.
The Corner. I was like, I know all black people look alike, right? So I'm saying, you sure it wasn't Alex Thomas? You know what I mean? I'm like, did Wayne Brady go in? All the black guys would know here. I'm like, you might have confused it, right? And I'm like this. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, I know I booked that shit. I'm nice with it, right? Yeah. Didn't know what the fuck was going on. I get the script or whatever. Now I'm starting to study a little bit, right? But I had to get an answer to this, right? So David Simon, when I get on set, I see him, and I was like, I got a question. And he was just laughing, like just talking to me, laughing before I said, I got a question. He said, well, I said, how did I get this? He was like, what do you mean? I said, I thought I bombed in an audition. And this is what he said. He said, Donnell, we liked the way you threw the lines away.
Yeah, man.
right? And just did your own thing. I was like, that's not, that's like, I didn't know the lines.
I didn't know the lines. I was just
Right.
had no other choice.
It worked in my favor. He was like, we like the way, like I chose.
You
Like,
never know.
I made a choice.
You never know when you get a part. It's so non-linear, man.
You know-
you can prepare for 3 days, and it's the roles that you get. Like you walk in, and you got to get somewhere.
Yeah, but
I
here's
don't want
another
to be there.
First he said, we like the way you threw the lines away. I couldn't tell him I didn't know the lines, right? Then he was like, he said, and I know what he meant by that. Everybody in there that identified with him as being a heroin addict went in there with the stereotype of a heroin addict. They didn't want to see that in audition. They wanted to see who he was without being high. So everybody was going in there like this. Yeah, man, I didn't do that. I was like, oh man, look, and that's the side they wanted to see. Now that went going down to one of the greatest shows in history. Whenever I talk to people, they like this. You was in my favorite show. I don't know if they're going to say Chappelle Show or The Wire. So The Wire auditioned for The Wire, right? And I didn't know again what the character was. I auditioned for this character Omar, right? I had auditioned for Omar,
It's a big role,
right? I auditioned
I love
for
that.
Omar.
I love that's my favorite character.
Right? I didn't get Omar, but I didn't know Omar was like he had already done 3 movies, if you know what I mean, right?
He was also a trained theater
Oh, he's a
actor.
beast. So I didn't get Omar. I got this other. I played Damian Price, Day, right? They gave me that, and then when I got on set, I asked Robert Cosbury. He was like, Donnell, I'm gonna be the driver and the governor's or whatever it was. I'm his assistant, whatever. And he said, that role, Omar, it came down to me and Mike.
Oh wow.
He said,
Wow.
He said, we were really considering you for Omar. He said, but we wanted to save this for you because we think it's gonna be something special, right? I didn't know the depth. And then when I look at what Mike did to that character Omar, I'm like, I couldn't touch that. Like certain people was just.
That actor Michael. I got a chance.
Michael K. Williams. Yeah.
What Michael K. and died too. Rest. He R.I.P. because he was. I met him. I got to meet him because I'd seen every episode of The Wire, and I did Ride Along, and he was at the premiere of Ride Along, and I was able to really just give him props. Like I was able to really he was just a beautiful. Yeah. He played that character like a hero. There was something heroic about it. Like he was the oasis in the desert. He as an actor shined. There was something about him.
It just like when someone like beats you out of a role, whatever, you can your ego will be like, well, but then when you see the performance, you're like this, it was made for him.
Oh man!
But here's the crazy thing: a lot of people don't know about The Wire. Like they said, we had something special for you, right? And if you follow The Wire series, that first season in the towers, it was incredible. Right, but what happened was it was it was a lot of unanswered questions. Like the last thing you see is me. They pull me over. They catch me with $30,000 in cash. They bring me in the office, and now they had to let me go. They had to let me go with the money. And and I got to tell you a funny thing what I added to that. So the scene is they interrogate me, they got to give me the money, and they got to leave. So I was like, I'm still coming off Chappelle Show, but we just freestyle everything, right? And they would. So I'm walking out with the money, and I'm still trying to be funny, right? I walk out with the money, right? And I'm like, some people got to have it. I told the money, don't let money change you. And I look back at him, I said, almighty dollar. And everybody died laughing, but it was like, yeah, no, you can't do that.
Why not? That's great.
But here's the thing. That was the end of it. Now, this is what people understand. You got to find out where was that money going and why he didn't give it back. But you notice the second season I wasn't there. And the reason why is because the Baltimore Tourism Board was upset with all the production in Baltimore. Because they say every time they bring the cameras in there, it's always drug addiction is always these
which it was,
but also,
but it was.
Yeah, what he wants to do,
a wasteland.
But that's what happened was they complained enough. Well, David Simon him because that Towers season was the shit, and I'm like this. Oh, next season, and I'm saying to myself, I'm already envisioning. I'm like this. I'm gonna be a dude who wears suits, but at the same time, I'm in the streets. I'm like, I know this. I could just tell this character is gonna blow. But because they got so much criticism about the depiction of Baltimore, they had to switch the storyline.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know that.
Damn.
So that's why, if you look at it, that's why it went from the towers to the docks.
Really?
that's right.
Yeah.
See, people don't realize, I shot a movie in Baltimore. People don't realize that it was a true wasteland. I'm talking about like Detroit, the land that time forgot. Because when industry moved out of there, only the poor stayed, quote unquote, black. So it was black. It was a black. So when Charles Dutton, a lot of people bring up Charles Dutton. You know who he is, the actor Charles Dutton?
He just had a birthday, he was a beast.
One of the great actors. Went to jail for murder and killed a dude in jail. There, okay? Went to jail for murder. Killed a dude in jail.
That was the janitor and Rudy.
Went to Yale Theater School.
Yep.
Was reading and writing while he was in jail. Taught himself everything. Now he came from Baltimore. When he shot The Corner, he was just looking for one person he'd grown up with. Just one person he'd grown up with, who would like show up with a good story.
Yeah.
And not one person. It was an example of what can happen to a town and what happens to everyone. I'm talking about everybody. The same thing in Detroit, where the hopelessness and despair was so deep and so widespread that you couldn't find one good story. And that's what killed him. And Charles Dutton was like, let me hire some people. Let me hire just some black, some of my people, like just as grips and stuff like that. There wasn't one. He couldn't find anybody.
But I would tell you, it was so real. And I understand what I'm saying. It was so real. We were shooting on location. When you see the hood, it wasn't a set.
Man.
They didn't build it.
Wow.
We was there. It was so much that
could see it.
We didn't even know who the dope fiends were until he said cut.
Damn.
It would be people like, yeah, they'd be like, cut. You'd be like, nah, I'm real, motherfucker.
That's the thing. It was so real. Some of the actors had never had any training, but they were so fucking good.
But another thing, a lot of those actors did. Some of them, you got Candy Alexander, you got Tasha, Reggie McCarthy, you got Tasha Smith.
Who played Bubbles. The fuck's his name?
I forget his name too. Big
great.
hair, whatever.
Great guy.
You had those guys. And one thing I will say about David Simon, man, he's so loyal, because if you look at the cast of The Corner, a lot of those guys started working on The Wire, and it totally switched the character. They went from dope fiends to people that's working in politics and everything.
So they were actors.
Oh yeah, they were actors. And they took me, I didn't know what I was doing. I thank Tasha Smith and Candy Alexander so much, because I was green. They taught me so much. I was just a Def Damn BT comic that just happened.
What are you doing right now? You're doing a show right now, right?
What do you mean?
Weren't you doing a TV show last year?
Oh yeah, BMF. Yeah, and BMF, that was in the streets. That was one of the biggest shows. It was about this drug gang or crew or empire back in the 90s. It was a big show. And the crazy thing was, where I'm at, I'm such a bad auditioner that I told my manager I'm doing offer only. And not in a cocky way, because I know I'm a shitty auditioner. And I said to myself, if somebody want to work with me, they would just be like, this. That's the only way I'm getting away.
For real, you should call me. You should call me.
I will.
For real. Just call me.
But the funny thing about this, Tasha Smith, this role was, she just called me one day. And she called me, and I was getting ready for something else with the voicemail.
Is that Leon right there, that actor?
Huh?
Is that Leon?
No, that's Kofi. That's a British actor. I forget his last name. He played Lamar. Man. That was my cousin. Everybody loved this character. So Tasha calls me one day, and I sent her the voicemail because I was doing something else. And this is how you know you got a good friend. When I finally picked up the phone, she said, "Motherfucker, when I call you, you answer the fucking phone."
Yeah.
Because there's certain people that call you know it's money.
Yes. Yep.
They don't call you for bullshit. And she was talking to 50. Randy Huggins, who was a fan of mine, he used to see me at Chocolate Sundays or whatever. There was this character of this guy. Well, I forget the people that fuck dead bodies.
Right? Necrophiliacs.
You're a freak. See, only white people know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, here's another one, another white test. What is the thing that you choke motherfuckers before they come?
Auto asphyxiation.
See, you know all of it. Yo, all right.
Brian a freak.
Things
Brian
a
a
white
freak.
do for 1,000, Alex. Right?
Yeah, baby. Come
Crazy
on.
white dude for 1,000.
So we had this.
Sorry, everyone. I'm educated.
She was basically, they threw my name up, 50 liked it, Randy liked, and I came in the last season, the finale. I did one scene, and I did good enough where the next season they brought me back for 3 episodes, and then they was loving his character so much. It went from 3 episodes to, I think I did 7 extra ones after that, and was a part of the whole series because of that shit.
With everything going on in today's climate, do you think you could have the same success on the Chappelle Show if you guys launched it today?
Yeah. I think
Same
so.
thing?
Yeah, because
would Comedy Central let you give you guys the freedom?
I don't know. The reason why I say that, because I think when we launched that show, it was, I think people was tired of watered down comedy. They wanted something honest. They wanted something unedited. They wanted that.
Yeah.
And I think that right now, what I think in comedy with all the cancel culture and everything, cancel culture is canceling themselves.
Yeah.
Because they bitch about so much shit, and now people are getting pissed about it.
Yeah.
It's forcing people to want to.
It's coming back the other way.
Yeah. It's coming back. It's coming back. It's flipping like, fuck that. You can see how, even my good friend Dave, how they attacked him so much, and they couldn't fuck with him to the point now it's turned into like, shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Right.
It's like you're bitching. And then when that lane becomes open, now you get people that are raw. The only thing I didn't, with this cancel culture, people always like freedom of speech. You have you have the right freedom of speech, but you have to have freedom of some responsibility.
Yes.
Just because you can go hard, that don't mean you have to go hard.
Right.
And now some people like going against the grain. They're just saying crazy shit just to be shocking. I think I feel like my special is going to be, I don't know, I won't say part of that movement, but I think it's going to be a point where people are like, you know what? This shit is just funny.
Yeah. It's headed in the right direction.
I agree. It's not just funny though, because I loved a lot of the stuff you touched on. Like I never thought about the idea that, you women use those words like narcissist, like gaslighting, like manipulative. And
it's become like, and I know that mental health is real. Shout out to Charlamagne and God from the Breakfast Club, because you love that shit. That's all he talks about.
I forgot you and Charlamagne.
Oh yeah,
man.
we go hard.
I love when you guys are
Charlamagne.
They just talk shit to each other nonstop.
All the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, all nonstop.
But I think now it's like, I do know that mental health is real, but now is that they get a hold of these words and they use them just to fuck with you. And now
it's like
they weaponize it.
oversharing culture. Like when you can talk about what a mess you are, you get social credit for it. It used to be like, for our generation, your generation, like if you complained about, like, I don't know, kind of how you were having a hard time, especially if you were a dude.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know,
gay.
bro.
But even with like,
It's like, see you
I mean,
later,
yeah,
bro.
now
I
times
don't
are
wanna deal with
different,
that
but
shit.
yeah.
Like, fuck you. Put that on stage and shut the fuck up.
that's where our therapy is.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. But even with my baby mother, right? Like she used to, she knows all the words. Like she sent me a mental health grid. She be saying shit like monkey branching and shit like that, right?
Monkey branching.
Yo, she got all the
love
words.
that shit.
And I didn't know all the words. But see, once I started learning what these words were, I was like, oh, I started using it on her.
You got to be your first responder, your own first responder.
Well, you can't just wait on anybody. You got to be prepared for any situation.
But where do you go? Where do you learn how to do things like tag
Dude,
tourniquet?
I was thinking the other night, I wish there was an app that could teach me how to survive.
Fieldcraft Survival. It's called Fieldcraft Survival. There's an app.
Like, remember when I got bit by a rattlesnake, you wanted to suck it out of me?
That's right.
That's not
right.
good.
But I wasn't up on the app. All you got to do is go to the app. It'll teach you how to do everything. You got jujitsu combatives. You've got self-defense, digital training plus preparedness contests. You learn how to survive the worst case scenario. And there are a lot of bushcraft. Your plane goes down. You can learn how to make a fire. Survival, disaster prep.
So
are you ready for a disaster?
Yeah, their mission is prepare every citizen to prepare for survive the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
In order to do this, they offer live training, gear, and online education. All right, and they didn't have a proper platform for a long time, but now they do. They have educational content up the gazoo. Now with Fieldcraft Survival app, you can learn all these things to get ready from legit experts at Fieldcraft. For the monthly subscription, you get 30 days free using the code FIGHTER30FREE. That's FIGHTER30FREE, the number 30 and free. For an annual subscription, you get 35% off your annual subscription. Use the code FIGHTER35. All right. And then for the training, use the code FIGHTER20. You get 20% off training and products at fieldcraftsurvival.com.
And I didn't even know the context. I just couldn't wait to say, don't gaslight me. Right? She was like, you want a cheeseburger? I was like, I'm not going to let you gaslight me. Right?
Turn it
I still don't know.
She was like,
what's good for the good?
You want cheese in that burger?
Gander.
Look, I was like this. She was like, you want cheese in that burger? I was like, just respect my boundaries. I would just use all of my shit. But the funny thing about it, once she knew I was mental health lingual or whatever, she was like, she was shut down. I said, respect my, I said, gaslighting. She looked at me like, who taught you that?
Yeah.
She was like this, oh,
you know
shit,
the lingo?
he's in trouble. But I realized, here's the real deal about that. The people that use those words the most suffer from what they're saying you are. Usually the people that call you the narcissist the most, they fucking narcissists.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
And I don't have a problem. What I do know about narcissists, most of the ones I know are the most successful people in the business.
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
it
and
requires a certain amount of self-involvement.
it has to.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always say that used to say that to my significant other. It's like, look, man, my first wife too, it's like, it was hard for her because I was traveling all the time. But I was like, I don't know how else to get successful. I don't. Like, I don't know how else, like, it's like, for me anyway, it takes every bit of effort, and I barely make it.
You pay a price.
You do.
to get to
It's so
to where you
hard.
want to get.
Yeah, but do you think
you gotta be
that's
selfish?
Do you think that that's because of how old you were back then, and then you think later?
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
maybe.
Because you look at it like you have a 20-year-old, 21-year-old comedian and actor, right? We're just driven on gotta make it.
Yeah.
But you think it's a difference between you getting married again, like, all right, you more successful now, you more comfortable with what you're doing, and you don't have. We always gonna have that hunger, but it's not that desperate.
maybe
Desperation.
I've
But when you're
learned-
coming up that desperation, it takes.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go. Like,
It does.
There's no balance. It's like that's.
But I wonder
If you're going to go to where you're going, it's something has to give.
Yes.
Whether it's family, relationships, there's no way you can get to where you're going and be able to balance the two. I don't think so.
Maybe not. I think when you get older, though, you start to realize that everything you need is right there in home.
Yeah, but
home.
but
Like,
you're 10,000 up. Now
I
you
am.
have perspective.
I am.
But you've also
I didn't know that.
you've made it to a certain extent. But
You're right.
back then, it's go and try that. Nah, I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna pass on
No,
that.
I'm going
weekend.
out there. I want to fight.
I'm not good with the audition. I'm good, man. I want to chill with my girl. You're not gonna
You
make
know
it.
what's so funny?
Because I'm going on the audition.
That's it.
You know, you say you want to chill with your girl. For me, the life changer, whatever, where I had to realize that now I can't always think money and all that is when I had my son.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Preach.
Because I never had to make decisions based on anything. I was selfish. It's just all worry about me. I never had to worry about my time. Fucking, I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But with me now, and like now, I have to make decisions sometimes. Like if it's something that's important to my, and it's happened to me, something that's important to my son in school or whatever. When I used to be like this, I'm taking that. Then I can't do that. Right. You passing up on the money? Yes, I'm passing up on the money, but I'm not passing up on the memory. I even
It's not worth it anymore.
Yeah, and
there's no monetary gain that can break my son's heart. I'm good.
And I'm at this situation. I'm at the point now where, like, if I want to, I can work every weekend. Like I went from doing, like, you know how the road is. I'm doing like 45 weeks a year, and because I was like this.
Road
I'm
dogging.
done.
Yeah.
But now I'm like this. I told my people, you know what? They were like this. We got so and so. I was like, I'm gonna take those 2 weeks off. I gotta be able to balance, and that's what having a son for me. It just, people always ask Donnell, so do you think you're more focused now that you have a kid? And I've always been focused, but the lens has changed now.
Yeah, the lens
it
has
went from that wide lens to that detailed lens, that 50, that
I would
effort.
offer-
I
I
think
would
it's
offer-
focus, but I would say this real quick for you. I would say having the option to go, I'm going to pass, I'm going to chill with my son. To me, that's success. Success is having the means where you cover your nut and you can pick and choose and you don't miss out on the kids.
And I would also say that
that's success.
The other thing that's great about children that you don't realize as a man, especially when you're kind of after it, you know, you spend your whole life after it, is that you all of a sudden have people in your life whose happiness is more important than your own.
Yeah, and you care about the.
Yeah, like I don't care. I almost care. Like when I'm going to have my fourth soon, and I don't care about myself nearly. I don't even think about myself. Like I swear to God, if I could go with nothing as long as my kids. When my kids have everything, when I'm teaching them shit, when I'm watching them laugh, when I'm watching them play, when I know that they're developing and growing, I swear to God, that's almost. I'll do everything just to.
Are
see
any of
that.
your kids disrespectful to you?
Yes, man. Yes.
Oh man, that's why I'm glad I just got one. And the reason why I'm telling you,
Bro.
I love my son to death, right? But this little motherfucker's so disrespectful.
He's
And
8?
He's 8, and I'm so petty. Like he has a phone. I gave him a phone, right? Because I didn't want to have to deal with the FaceTiming with his mother. And I'm telling
Pass
you,
it to your mom.
when you got it's like this. When you got a baby mom that's giving you this shit every once in a while, then when they FaceTime you, it's different. They don't even. They be like, your dad.
That's it.
You don't even see the face. It's just like this. There he is, right there.
It turns into a teen. My 15-year-old daughter calls me Bryan. Doesn't call me dad.
Yo, my
It makes me
8-year-old
angry.
son calls me bruh.
Nah,
He called me bro one
See?
time. I checked him.
Nah,
Better check
not
out.
happening.
Nah, he said, but that's when he's around his cousin. He's like, bro. I was like,
He's trying to be
bro.
cool.
Yeah, trying
Yeah,
to be
he's trying
cool.
to be
But this
cool.
is why he's disrespectful. Like I texted one time, and I already like in one part of my joint, I was like this. I'm a dad that identifies as a mom, right? Does that
Yeah,
make
it's
me
great bit.
does that make me transparent?
It's a
right?
great, it's a great bit.
Right, and I'm like this. I'm like, oh,
Special.
like this kid got me like on awe, right? And one time I said, I'm about to get real sensitive with this motherfucker, right? And I typed a paragraph.
To him?
Yes, I'm like just I text him.
reading that shit.
I text him a paragraph. This motherfucker gave me the thumb.
Just sounds good.
Thumb, and then I had to suck it up, right? He gave me the thumb, and I was like, that's kind of rude, right? I was thinking that I'd get more than a thumb, and then he changed it to a heart, right? And then he did a ha ha, and then exclamation mark. I was like, this
He
dude
has no time for you.
Wow.
Just like,
I'm
eh.
telling you, when I tell you somebody that got me like, he asked one time. I said, Austin, what do you want to do?
What's his name?
Austin.
That's a good name.
I'm like this. What do you want to do? You know why it's a good name? It's a good name on paper, and I talk about this. I didn't want him to deal with Tyrone or Donnell. I wanted him to get in the room.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Austin
move.
sounds. Yeah, Austin sounds.
Yeah,
like a-
So one time I said, Austin, what do you mean? He said, Daddy, I want to be in entertainment. And I was like, oh, come on, man. First you think like, oh, I want him to walk in my footsteps or whatever. I'm like, come on. And then I was like, well, there's a lot of rejection in this business. I'm being real with him. I was like, it's going to be a lot of, some people not going to support you. I said, you're going to have to be tough. You're going to have to deal with no. You have to deal with the negative stuff and everything. I was like, maybe you want to consider being a funny doctor or a funny lawyer or whatever, right? And then I was like, you still want to do it? He was like, yeah. I was like, why? He said, Daddy, because you inspire me. I was like, oh.
Damn, bro.
I was like,
Damn,
all right.
bro.
I was like, then I looked at him, I said, yo, you sus, dude. You are
beautiful.
so sus. But I'm going to tell you, with this
Damn.
special, people always ask me, what makes this special? What's so special about this special? And I tell them, 20 years ago, when I was trying to build a name for myself, I would have been super, super excited, like, this is going to be the introduction to the business, whatever. But now, after 32-year career, enough people know me where I could make a good living for myself telling jokes. This is for me, it's for all my fans to say, you're next. You deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Just the way you said, like, yo, Donnell, you've been a beast for so many years, whatever. I think that this is a reward and a sense of accomplishment for my fans, for those people like, you're underrated. I never agree with underrated because you got to ask yourself, who's rating you? Because if people know, you've never said that about underrated, but you know that I do my
I've never
thing.
heard that
So I think that this is a calling for that. I had a conversation with Dave a couple weeks ago, and like, especially like with black comedians, it's such a cloud of negative stuff going on.
Why is that?
Especially lately, right?
I'll tell you this.
I want to talk to you about that.
I'll tell you for one reason, that for some reason in the black community, we feel like it can only be one comic that's that dude at one time.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
Famine thinking. Kind
Yeah,
of
It's a crab mentality.
Is
They
it-
want to pull them down
Yes.
so they can go up.
Yeah,
huh?
it's like crabs in the barrel. And I'm not talking against my people by no means, but I ask myself, why can't we all get along? I say this, and even Dave asked me, because we were talking about some people that go at him, and he said, why do people why do you think that people act like that and feel that way to me, Dave? I said, because a lot of times when people don't know what their path is, your success just mirrors their failures and what they're not
Their
doing.
insecurities, so they
Yeah.
lash out.
Yeah, they lash out instead of saying, all right, here's the blueprint.
Yeah.
Of saying, okay, what made him who he is? What type of work ethics and stuff do I have to deal with to get? You don't look at that. You want to bring people down. But another thing, misconception, they say only black people only black comedians go at each other like that.
No,
I said, but see, but white people, what y'all do is y'all put it under the umbrella of a roast. We do it on stage and we do it like, but y'all be like this. I fucking hate your guts. Do we got a
do a
roast
roast,
coming
yeah,
up?
yeah. Where's Jeff
That's
Ross?
right. Yeah, Jeff Ross.
it, that's
I'm like, you think black people go hard? Have you ever seen Jeff Ross do a roast?
Oh, my God.
Have you ever seen Tony Hinchcliffe do a roast?
Crushes,
It
yeah.
is
Monsters.
murder, and that's why I don't do roast. Because I was like, I'm going to start a fight.
Yeah.
I don't even put me in some that position because you talking about, and then what they do is like, it's just jokes. No, that was
No, that was the
personal.
truth.
That's
What about
what I
so you know Katt Williams?
Yeah.
one of the great comics.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really look at his body of work.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
this is what I think with the Katt Williams situation.
You say, hold on, he's for the audience. You're referring to the Shannon Sharp interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was
Colorful.
I think that
Entertaining.
It was the funny thing about the interview is that Katt Williams is very short. He did 3 hours of interview and his feet never touched the ground. It looked like he was riding an imaginary bicycle, right? But the funny thing was that Shannon Sharp is so animated, right?
Yeah,
it didn't matter what Katt Williams said. Shannon, oh, you can't say that, Katt. Oh, Katt, come on, Katt. You can't say that. Yeah. Come on, Katt. Oh, come on, Katt.
Yeah,
no matter what he said.
Yeah.
Katt Williams said, no, Katt, you can't say that.
He's the best.
Katt Williams like, I'm 4'3". Oh, no, Katt, you can't say that. You know you 4'1", Katt. But I think it was what it was. It was like enough is enough. I think that the conversation that Katt Williams had was a conversation. It was locker room talk. I think it was stuff that all him and his boys talk about. And I think finally he just got fed up with it and he wanted to say what his truth was. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a problem with that. Somebody said, Donnell, yeah. But see,
it was funny. He was also funny as fuck. It was almost like a 1 hour
Yeah, but I
special.
think here, so we say it's his truth, but how much of it is, maybe he thinks it's the truth. I'm sure there's some people out there that beg to differ.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
the issue.
But the people that beg to differ, like he has, like, all of these famous people, they got the group of people, their fan base. Like Nicki Minaj, she got the Barbs.
Yeah.
Right. I had beef with them for two
that's
weeks.
trouble.
Oh man,
The Swifties?
No. The Swifties.
Don't fuck with them either.
I got love for. The Swifties never had beef with
The Bees?
The Barbs, the Beehives. I've had beef with them.
Who are the Beehives?
The Charlamagne.
That's Beyonce.
Okay.
Right. You got the Beehive. You got the Swifties. You got the Barbs.
The Barbs are who? They're from
Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trouble.
Why-
Yeah.
yeah.
If they come for you, it's trouble.
Really?
No, the reason this came from me. I did David Spade's show, right? It was like one of those topical shows.
Yeah, I love that show.
Where they bring like one of the topics was Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and I said, I'm trying to be funny. I said the reason why Nicki Minaj is so upset with Cardi B because Cardi B is taking her shine. The Barbs did not like that.
Damn.
When I tell you they attacked my page, they was like they was putting clown faces, guns, knives and everything.
Yeah.
They was like this. They was like this. We found this page. Meet us over there, right?
Yeah.
They
Get
was-
'em.
They was putting unicorns and everything. I just had to say I'm sorry.
Yeah. My
The
bad.
Beehives, but now as notorious as those groups are, nobody, and I named them this, nobody is more gangster than Katt Williams and the Kitty Cats.
Oh, he has some.
Is that right? He's got some followers.
What? It's a cult. There's nothing you can. That's why you say the reason why people don't address it because there is nothing you can say, even if you've tried to have rational thinking or whatever. It's going to be like, where's the lie? Where's the lie?
Yeah.
He exposed y'all. Where were y'all when people were saying that he was smoking crack? What was y'all saying? I was like, guess what? I wasn't saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't have anything bad to say about Katt.
Yeah, I
but I
love
think
Katt.
it was a person that was frustrated. And he has some built up. He was upset about it, and I also know it was a person that knew that he got a tour coming out too. You know what I'm saying, and it's going to drive some sales or whatever. But
Yeah, things that like 50
but I don't-
million views.
yeah,
I'll go see him.
it really broke the internet. But
Hell yeah, it's him.
I'm telling you, I don't want or start trouble with anybody.
No.
When I go to a club or whatever, I don't befriend a lot of comedians. Like people like, well, are you starting to change because you blowing up? No, you don't mess with nobody. You don't fuck with nobody because you blowing up. I was like, no, I never fucked with anybody.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And I know even with that situation we were speaking about earlier, it's a lot of ways I could probably have handled that. But I got triggered. I responded to it, and that was it. But I will say,
Responded in a funny way.
I shut it down, and this is what I look at. I was like, okay, the name of your special, right? What is it? It's called A New Day. So as much as we had that little war or whatever you want to say that's going on, it's a new day.
Yep.
It's a new dawn.
You could see it, man. I love that. I love that.
Did you
too.
see that? Did
That's
you
a
feel
Nina
that?
Simone
Did you
song,
feel
right?
that? Did you feel that when you watched it?
I really did, bro. I really did. First of all, I was like, I didn't realize you hadn't done a special, and having watched you for so many years, just crush a room and just be unique. Like you're the best compliment you can give a comic is I just think you have a very unique voice. I've never seen a comic. I've never seen you do your stand up and go, oh, that's just like, or that doesn't
Right.
remind me
Yeah, you've
of
never seen
fucking
it.
anybody.
And that's what-
so
so-
that's a huge thing. Like
But that's
your
what-
original self-expression.
And
You have-
the
you're an
special drops
original.
on the 27th?
27.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you say that because, people talk about like joke stealing and everything. And when people talk about joke stealing, I know that in our business, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
But I know this is crazy, but there was an unwritten rule back in the day. It's not your joke until you put it on TV. Right? That's what it was. And that was like, I heard old timers say that, whatever. And back in the day, I didn't go well, we didn't have the internet. Our thing was, when somebody told you a joke, you beat them up, right? You beat them up, and then you write another joke.
Cool.
This is my feeling on joke thieves. If you have a joke that somebody could steal that easily, then guess what? It ain't your
That's
best
how
joke.
I always felt. That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying?
I've always said that. I mean, because
Like
there
for a black
are
comic,
premises and shit.
Man, black comic, okay. They were arguing about a joke that, yeah, I got a joke about being poor and having a bootleg Halloween costume. Every black comic in the hood dressed up as, guess what the #1 outfit was? It was a box and it was a ghost. Right? And
Wait,
my
wait,
outfit,
wait,
we
it was
was
a box and
broke.
a
We was
ghost?
broke. We had pieces of outfits. Yo, one day I was in
Where'd you grow up?
in Washington, D.C., Alexandria, Virginia. When we were growing up, I remember Halloween. One day I was the Hulk, Spider-Man, and Superman in one outfit. I had the Spider-Man web, I had Superman cape, and I had another mask and shit. I was Negro man. I was a hood man. That's what I'm saying. But even with this special, I shot this special. A lot of people don't know is 2 years ago, we took a stab at this special, right? We did it at the brink of the COVID, right? We did this special and we got it. And I'm like, oh man, I got a special out. And Dave called me and he said, Donnell, I want to shoot your special again. That's the most insulting thing you could say to a comedian. Because the first question you're going to say is, it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
You know?
What's wrong with it?
And then I was like, how do I go from doing a chest bump with Stan Lathan, high-fiving Ricky Hughes, hugging one of my closest friends to you want to do it again? And Dave said, Donnell, you are one of the funniest comics I know. He said, I could put you in any room and you're going to rip the room up. He said, but that does not make it a great special.
Right.
So I had to deal with some constructive criticism. At the time, I was like, whatever. But the check cleared, so I was like, all right, okay, I'll listen.
Let's do it again.
Right?
Yeah.
It was worth the wait, bro.
It was worth it. A year later, we were in Napa Valley. This was just random. We were doing some shows, and one of his producers was there. And he was like, he always records all of his shows, right? For whatever reason, they had to create an archive, whatever. He said, Ricky, how many cameras do we have? She said, we got 5. He looked at me, he said, Donnell, do you want to do your special? I said, when? He said, tomorrow. And I couldn't be no punk. I was like, first I was like,
Yeah.
right. But then I was changing my stuff. I was like, well, I need a suit, right? Well, I need a tie or something. I said, I want to do a certain look. The first time I did it, I was going for like a rock and roll type of joint. And then when we looked at that, I was like, Dave was like, you're a rock star. Your set need to have lights. And I had on John Rivedo sneakers, you know what I'm saying? Like the jean jacket and all that. And then, so we shot it, and I was excited about this because it wasn't no announcement. I didn't have to worry about getting anybody no free tickets or anything.
Yeah.
There was only 3 people knew that we were trying to do a special. That was me, Dave, Ricky, maybe 4.
That's wild, man.
And I was like, this.
So that was what I saw.
No.
Oh, okay.
This
No,
was
the one they canned.
I think he canned the first one.
Yeah.
Then the second one, no, I don't really consider this a can because we just rolled the dice. I was like, hell yeah! Since we got the cameras, you know, I don't have the
money.
pressure of my family or anything.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what it was. Then I didn't have the pressure of like, you got to do it. I was like, this is just a regular set. And that's the vibe I want to be on. Rip that special, right? A month later, I'm like, I'm calling Robbie Prof from Netflix, right? Because Robbie's like, where's the special? Where's the special? I called Robbie. And I didn't David know. I was like, yo, I think we got it. He was like, let me see it, motherfucker. Then Dave said, I want to do it again. I'm like, why? He said, I didn't like the production. I'm like, motherfucker, you the producer.
Damn.
Is that self-hate?
Perfection.
Right?
Perfection.
But this is what he said. Second time he said, Donnell, out of all the specials I'm producing, right? He said, because of my relationship with you and the Chappelle show and attached to this brand, yours is the most anticipated special out of everybody. He said, I wanted to be right. And he was a perfectionist. He was like, there's people walking around, they're not seated. And I'm trying to argue. I was like, yeah, but Richard Pryor live at Sunset Strip, one of the best jokes he had was when people was coming from the bathroom. I was like, let's keep it classic. Let's keep it raw, right? He was like, I said, is it something we can handle in post? He said, yeah. Donna, it's your special. If you want me to put it out, I will. And I was like, yeah. Then he said, but I think, so it was those 2 attempts. And every step of the way, I took his notes. I was doing my homework. I remember one time we was on one of his planes. We was going somewhere, and I'm throwing him ideas for promos. I was like, I got this idea for a promo. He said, you worrying about promos? You need to be worrying about your jokes. And I said, Dave, I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. I said, if you would come out the green room, because he's always in the green room, wasn't checking my sets up. If you come out the green room, if you see what I do with these arenas, if you will watch the tapes I send you, you will understand how disrespectful I'm listening to you. I'm doing my homework. Every time you ask me to do something, I correct it or whatever. Cut to the third time. And all the notes, and I talked to Jeff.
It all came together.
It all came together. And even after the first time, Jeff was like, you doing it again? He said, Bo, people don't never do that. And he has so much respect for me that I had already got my money. And the next go around, he had to put more money up.
But you're worth it.
And that's why when motherfuckers like, sorry to do it, Corey Holcomb talks shit about
Dave.
the guy that put one of the biggest checks I've ever saw about that guys. One of the biggest checks I ever seen in my life. The guy that negotiated my contract, where one of the biggest checks I ever got, he had a clause in my contract that if they want to work with me again, they got a minimum, they got to give me that money again.
Wow.
A motherfucker that fought for me to like, it's licensed to Netflix for 5 years. After that, I have ownership of it.
Yeah, that's great.
The guy that says, you know what, Donnell, I don't got to keep producing your specials. After, just let me do this one, and you go from there.
He's
and another thing,
what makes him so special.
You saw the special, and one of the things that you said that I really, really appreciate, you said the opening of it. Because this, when we would have some creative differences, he said, Donnell, do this for me. You work on the jokes, you do that part, let me do the bells and whistles. And I didn't know what intro I was going to do. I was stuck. Every time I pitched something, like, Then he said, I got an idea. And when he told me that idea, the reason why that resonated so much, because he took what the song means.
Yeah,
he
man.
took what I care about.
I agree with you.
He took what I care
looking
about.
at your face, looking at like.
Come on.
Well, I don't want to give it away.
But you don't even know. When you see that intro.
Bro, it was like, I've never seen that side of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
I
another thing
on stage.
another thing, it showcases me, but what people don't know, in that short period of time as an actor.
Yeah, 100%.
As an actor.
You know what? Because you weren't acting.
It was real.
It was real,
And
man.
you're right. Now that I think about it, you're right. That's one shot.
No, they're gonna kill us. They keep flashing. You have to go.
Out of here. I want to keep
We
you
can
here as
talk
long
to you
as
all
we can.
day, but
Yeah, I can't be
They won't
black
have
at
you
this
back.
next podcast.
We cannot be late. Next podcast, Donnell Rawlings,
Damn, man.
the Beast.
special drops on
New day.
27th.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-ba, ba.
Ha ha.